Well, as you can probably see by the trees and here, the storm is about to arrive again. This one's due to go on for 3 or 4 days. I don't know any much after that. Quite often they say it's going to improve and then it just gets a lot worse again. But, you can see we're actually outside the shed. It's a bit of a mess at the moment. I'm working on all this, getting them all set up for next year. Basically, you can see there where I've ripped off a lot of the older pots, the bases. I've decommissioned a couple actually. I'm changing things around a lot. They got quite a bit of damage on the base. You can't really see it on those ones. Let's have a look in the shed. You can see it on some of these, like there. You see the base of that. It's getting really old. It's torn up. Needs to be re-roped. Base probably okay on that one for another couple of years. But, bit of a mess in here. Engine's looking at it. That one's been serviced, the big one. Working on the little one. Kind of working on everything at once. But new pots being built as well. But I need to have a good sort out here. What I'll do is I'll get these pots sorted out, clear everything out, then I'll go and stack them outside, and then we'll get on with clearing up in there and getting stuff set for next year. You can see we've got rubbish everywhere at the moment. Anyway, we're going to look at the lobster tank today. You can see in here I've got ropes. These ropes, they were actually outside drying out. They've dried out. Going to pack them up. Going to recheck the leads on them because I actually put lead on them like this. Wrap insulation tape round. It's a cheaper way of doing it than buying leaded rope. Also, it's not as heavy, the rope, so it won't pull on your pots so hard as lead rope does. That's the try. I've got one pot with lead rope and it's always the one that moves whenever there's bad weather. So, but anyway, this is the tank. If you can see it, you have to excuse the in and out focus and all that. I'm actually holding the camera. I still haven't bought a new one yet, so going with what we've got at the moment. You can see there, this holds about 700 litres of seawater. I'll bring the seawater up in that. That's originally how you fill it up. Now I do bring crabs in and I put them into buckets, and you can see there's one here. It's actually doesn't have a thing on it, but this is the pipe. You put an air stone on it, and under that rope there's actually one. It's not on, one of those air pump. This is just an extra one I put in the tank. It's not working at the moment as such. Oh yeah, yes it is, it's on, it's in the corner there, you see the bubbles coming up. But that's just a little bit extra. Now what I've got in here, in the tank, is there's, it's not full to 700 litres, it's probably got about 400 at the moment, something like that. And at the bottom of the tank, you probably can't see it from here, I don't know if you can see down the side there, it's probably too dark. But it's actually full of gravel. It's like got a load of stones in it. There's probably 4-inch, 6-inch of stone and gravel, and underneath that there's actually an under gravel filter. Now I've got that filter there, which is attached to that under gravel filter, so everything gets sucked to the bottom of the tank, any dirt from the lobsters, anything like that. So it goes through that gravel first, then it goes through this pump system, which has basically got like media, one for breeding bacteria, good bacteria, which keeps the water clean, or breaks down the any fine particles in the water. Then it goes through let me think, it goes through charcoal after that, removing any toxins that may build up. And then after that it goes through a sponge filter, which takes out anything else. And then it goes back into the tank. Or it might be the other way around in there, I can't remember how I've got it set up, but I'm going to actually be opening it up this year and putting brand new media in it. Now the media I've had in it, normally I'd do it, well I'd say every year, but you could get away with 2 years with it. It depends how many lobsters you're putting in the tank and all the rest of it. You can put a lot in here. I mean, you can put a dozen a basket if you want. That'd be a bit overkill, but I normally stick in sort of, I don't know, 5 or 6 a basket if I've got quite a few. But people come and get lobsters, so they turn over pretty quick. So they're not in here for more than a week most of the time, the lobsters. At the moment you see the tank is completely empty. The only thing that's in this tank, you won't be able to see it, but there is actually one. I don't know if we can zoom in, it's probably way too dark. But down there, there's a little spot in the middle of the screen. That's actually a shrimp or a prawn. I put shrimps and prawns in the tank. The reason being is they will pick up, when the basically lobster's crap in the tank, they will eat it. As simple as that. They'll break it down even more, Like I said, then it goes through the gravel filter, or the under gravel filter. Thereby, that's normally how you could have a fish tank set up anyway. That's originally how I had the tank before I had the big filter. It does work, but if you get a problem with, say, a lobster that dies, and it does happen, you might get a sick lobster, something like that, it dies. As soon as that lobster dies, the others will jump on it and rip it to shreds. And yeah, you will end up with a filthy tank. But these filter systems like that can take care of that pretty damn quick, whereas the under gravel system, it'll take a couple of days to clear it. I've also got some backup filters which are, I'm not sure what they are. Oh, they're kind of up there in a box. There's several filters which are just sponge filters basically. You can put carbon in them as well, but they're sponge. And I'll drop those in the, if I do get a tank and the water gets dirty for any reason, I'll drop those in and it will clear it within hours. So, you know, it's not going to do the lobsters any harm, the water going a little bit murky or a bit dirty, but it's not very aesthetically pleasing for anybody coming who wants to get a lobster if your tank's dirty, or if your tank smells. So, keeping the lobsters in that perfect water quality is my priority. You see here, we also have things like this. This is the pH tester, I've got a couple of those. Got to keep an eye on the pH. And water, we've got a hydrometer here, which tests how much salt's in the water. So if your salt content starts to go up, because it will with evaporation, you will lose water with evaporation. So what you do is you put distilled water in, you top it back up with that. You can either mark your tank, or what I do is I just use the hydrometer to test the water, and that keeps the water, the salt content correct. Now, like I say, I do bring crabs up and I'll put them in a bucket with that pipe I showed you, just for people who want a few crabs. So when I bring fresh seawater up, what I do is I chuck it in the tank here, and I take water out the tank, or I take the water out the tank first, and I chuck it in a bucket. So I'm kind of slowly changing the water anyway and keeping that water kind of alive, although there isn't any need to do that. I mean, I've had the lobsters in last year, they were in the same water, I had one in over the winter, it had no change of water, it was fine. As long as you keep an eye on the pH and the salt content, everything's fine. But no, like I said, this year, being the tank's nice empty, I might fully change the water. I do that every couple of years, completely empty the tank out, clean it all out, and freshen everything up. But I always keep, say, a can of water like that, of the old water, because it'll have the bacteria you need to get your tank started again. If you don't do that, you can't really use it for a few weeks until the water quality until you've got your bacteria working for you again, or it's best not to. And this tank, this was just one I had with shrimps in it and prawns in it at one point. The water in there is very salty because I haven't changed it for a long time. I need to clean that out actually and do something about that. So there you go, that's the way the lobster tank works. And like I say, it also means I don't have to keep my catch in store pots down by the boat, where you might get thieves come along, like we did this year. We had a thief come and steal the ones with the crabs in, but they won't be able to steal the lobsters because I don't keep them in the store pot if I can help it. But hopefully we'll get to do some more videos soon. I don't know how soon. Like I say, these storms are just never ending through the winter, just non-stop, and I mean, you don't want to go out too far in a boat. So we'll see how we get on, and hopefully we'll do some shore work. But we'll see you when we get back to the fishing.